Barrow building technology, experimenting with turf and logs. Good day, dear colleagues. We are delighted to be a part of such an important event. Last year we talked about the development of experimental archaeology in Kazakhstan. Today we will share the result of the field experiment with turf and logs, which were used in the construction of the Baigetobe Saka barrow. In terms of size, architecture, and the presence of a rich accompanying inventory, this mound was included to the category of prestigious, so-called royal mounds, and it's located in the Ayapova district of East Kazakhstan region. Excavation were carried out in 2003 by the archaeological expedition of the Archaeology Kazakh National University under the guidance of Professor Tolubayev. After removing the earthen and stone embankment of the mound, a partially preserved wooden stone tomb was discovered at the level of the ancient day surface. During the excavation, attention was drawn to the presence of 40-centimetre layer of dirt. Thus, our first experiment aimed to determine the mass of the turf layer and the possibility of its transportation on horseback. During the study, it became obvious that it's difficult to cut the turf because it's compacted and densely penetrated by living plant roots. Nevertheless, the mass of 1 square meter of turf layer with a depth of 20 centimeters is 218 kilograms. In the process of transporting, it also loses weight. The most comfortable for transportation are 3 layers of turf stacked on top of each other. This method allows quickly deliver the required amount of turf and doesn't require a special equipment. As for the second experiment, the main task here was to check the function of the eyelets. Since the forest necessary for the construction of the tomb was located 25 kilometers from the burial site, the eyelets in the logs were most likely used for dragging with the help of horses. Logs for the experiment were selected in the size close to archaeological, a diameter 25 centimeters and a length 12 meters. In general, logging operations were a time-consuming part of the experiment. If we take into account that the large of the required size grows in the cheek of the forest located high in the mountains, it took a lot of male efforts and time for the felling and removal of the tree. The process of hollowing out the eyelets on the cheek part of the log with dimensions of 10 to 11 was carried out in a sitting position to hold the log in one place. The work was carried out from the 2 sides alternatively. As a result of this operation, the finished whole was obtained after 1 hour and 10 minutes. Further, a long rope and a wake were used to remove the logs. The rope were passed through the hole was tied into the arch of both sides. 3 horses of local breed were involved in the transportation process. However, not every installation can rope with this kind of load. The result of the study showed the reliability of the above observation, since after dragging on the chin of the log, traces of beveeling similar to an archaeological source become noticeable. Considering the fact that about 60 logs were used for the construction of the tomb log cage alone, transporting them one by one in the summer at a distance of 25 kilometers is a very difficult task for horses. Based on this, we continued the experiment in February. In winter, dragging a log through the snow is much easier and faster. To conclude, experimental studies of the materials used in the construction of royal mounds help to take a fresh look at the construction technology of the structure. The experimental data on the preparation and transportation of turf logs may indicate that organized collective labor was required for such large-scale structures. Finally, we would like to thank all